Hey everyone, this is Baylor, and welcome back to the Scooby-Dooby-Doo channel. I am your host, I am your presenter, I am the person that is going to teach you something in Rails and JavaScript and things that make everybody smile and happy. So what we're going to look at today is building a recent transactions type popover that you may see on a website. It's kind of like this. So we have an adopt a pet website. It shows a bunch of pets. These are just placeholder images. It's not a real site. And as we're on the site, we present the user who's interacting with our app with what's happened recently. And so we're showing like a bluebird was adopted in, I don't know how to pronounce that, Carico. It's someplace in Zelda. I pulled all these cities off of Wikipedia just so that I had some fun places to think about while I was making this application. So I'll give you a quick run through. All I've done is very simply, we have a schema and it just has a single table that has a location and the pet that was adopted. And I've set up just some seeds. So I created 25 adoptions where I just pulled from a sample set of colors, pets, and locations. And what we're doing is we're just pulling these out. So the first thing we need to do is actually create the endpoints so that we can grab a recent adoption. And so what we'll do is we'll hop into our routes file. And so as you can see, I've defined a default root route, and we're going to add a second route here that says we want to do a GET request to a path called adoption/recent, and that is going to go to our adoptions recent action, or adoptions controller recent action. And so now that we have this, we can go and define this adoptions controller. And so I've gone into app controllers adoptions controller, and we're going to define, we have adoptions controller. It just inherits application controller. We're not going to do a lot here. We are going to define a method called recent, and that is just so that we match this route that we've defined. And then inside of here, what we want to do is just so we want to render JSON, and we're going to take in all the adoption models. We're going to order by random, and we're going to take the first one. And so this is a method that's available in SQLite. It's going to change if you're on, like if you were on MySQL, it would just be rand. I don't think Postgres has this, but a lot of times you can get by saying like new ID or something like that. That'll just give you a GUID, and that's something that is very random. So now we've hopped back into our browser. We've hit adoption/recent, and as you can see, it's pulled in a pet was blue walrus in Gotham. And if I refresh, you can see now we have Whitebird and Mayberry. And so every time we refresh this page, we're going to get a random animal and location. So the next thing that we want to do is I've just hopped into app assets, JavaScript, and then banner.js. This file is loaded because we have in our JavaScript application.js, it just says require tree, and this dot means relative to current like app assets JavaScripts. And so this banner file will automatically get loaded. What we're going to do in here is just several pieces to just build that banner. I've already defined the CSS for that. So if we just hop into recent banner.css, you can see it's very simple. It's just some styling to create a banner that primarily just fixes it to the top right corner. And I just added a transition so that it's always hidden basically just off the screen with translate Y. But if we add a show class, then we do translate Y as 0, and that's what created that animation where it kind of slid down into the screen. So now that we kind of know how this markup works, what we can do is hop into this JavaScript file, and we're going to define that we just have a self-invoking function. This allows us to avoid exposing variables globally. We're going to create a banner, and so we're just going to make this a constant, and we're saying creating element, and it's just going to be a paragraph tag. And the first thing we want to do is just go to our class list and add that this is the recent banner, and we're going to append this to our body tag. And so if we go ahead and refresh the page now and inspect the source, you can see we have this recent banner. And if I come in over here and I uncheck this translate Y, you can see it just came into the screen. It just doesn't have any text. So what we want to do is we want to define a function called create banner. And this function will be run after 2 seconds. You'll probably want to tweak these times here for this 2 second, but basically we want this function to run 2 seconds after the page loads. And I set that offset because it helps wait for you to kind of get started on the application. And also I added this animation to the logo up here. And so it kind of helps offset that. So when we create this banner, what we want to do is make a fetch request. This is HTML5 for a AJAX request. And we want to hit that adoptions recent. And when we made that, as you can remember, this method returns a JSON object. And so what we want to do is just map this into JSON. And then when we take that, this will give us back an object for our adoption. And what we're going to do is very simply just tell our banner to have in an inner text of a, and then we import that we have a pet was adopted in, and then we insert the location that pet was adopted. And so that'll actually, if we refresh the page now and we wait that 2 seconds, you can see now this banner actually has text. So now that we're inserting this text, what we want to do is modify our class list to include show. And now when we refresh the page, if we wait 2 seconds, you see it slides down and it tells us a striped cat was adopted in Metropolis. So now that we're showing that this pet was adopted, we want to add another timeout here. And so after 5 seconds, we want to go ahead and remove that show class from our banner. And that way, if we refresh the page, it'll wait 2 seconds, it's going to show the banner, and then after 5 seconds, that banner is going to slide back off to the top of the screen. And so once we've hidden this banner, we want to just set another timeout to create the banner again after 2 more seconds. And so with this done, every 5 seconds, it's going to refresh and show us a different, like this was a pink dog, and then it's going to come back and it's going to tell us that a white bird was adopted. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It's something that's very common on different applications. And as you can see, you don't have to just like overcomplicate it. The only thing I think I might actually change, just if you're doing this in your real application, is in that adoptions recent. Naturally, you don't want to just send down every piece of information here. It's fine in this application, but you'd probably want to limit it down to just location and pet. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day.